Hello, welcome to another Alpha Striker We Play video. Hello, Tarron.
Hey, buddy, how we doing?
I'm doing good. Now, we did a big series on
physical attack
stuff.
Physical attack weapons.
Yeah.
And equipment and stuff that you need for those things. And now we're getting into more fun stuff.
We're going to be doing some pew-pews as such. So range, we're going into range weapons now.
Yes. We're going to try and keep it reasonably ordered. We're going to try and keep it in some sort of logical flow. If you see something that we've missed, chuck a comment down. If you've got something that you want and we haven't done it yet, chuck a comment down. We'll probably get to it eventually anyway, but just so we know. And it's also worth mentioning, seeing as this is the first one that we're going to do, that we're probably going to be mentioning some things over and over again. Okay, so you're going to hear us say words like in the physical attack ones where we kept mentioning TSM. And those of you who had no idea what BattleTech is had no idea what TSM was, and we were confusing you all. But eventually we'll get around to it and it'll all hopefully become clear. If it isn't, again, chuck a comment down and let us know.
That's right.
Okay? Disclaimer over.
Yes.
I think we're good.
So now that's good. Let's get stuck into it.
Yeah!
Alright, so let's start with lasers.
Your bog standard laser.
Yes, and we'll probably ER lasers as well. So talk about the difference between all the different sizes and the different types.
Yep.
And why you should have them and maybe why you shouldn't have them.
Why they're freaking awesome.
They are awesome though.
Yeah. So the laser is basically the bog standard thing. I mean, back when they started doing it, that was the thing that it was. It was just lasers and the base autocannon things, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So the ER laser wasn't around originally, obviously. So when the Star League came along, they started investing in R&D.
Yeah,
they got some ER versions of the lasers, but
and then they all came back again when the clans came.
Yeah, so the clans, they really only use like the ER versions. They don't have the standard Innosphere one. But the early when the mech was first sort of developed and things like that, your lasers were a pretty popular addition to it because it was sealed and it was it wasn't an internal combustion engine, a fusion engine which has heat sinks built into it and things like that. They figured why not. The medium laser is pretty common on the battlefield because it's quite a solid little weapon there.
Yeah, and when you're constructing, we've done a couple of construction things. If you are constructing, your medium laser is bog standard. It's one ton, one critical space, and you're away to go.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you can just write one on your location and take 1 ton off and good to go.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with just normal lasers. So there's large, medium, and small.
Yep, so we're going to get a table up here now. When you're playing BattleTech, if you don't like tables, you should probably just give up now, okay? Because there's a lot of them. But this one's on page 303 of Total Warfare. Cha-ching! And we're going to get it binged. Pillar. Bing!
Woohoo! Magic.
Yay! So we're looking there at your lasers, which are like the 4th or 5th one down there. So as you said, they come in 3 sizes.
Yep.
Which is basically 3 range brackets. Your small laser is low damage, low heat, but low range.
Yeah.
Your large laser is high damage, high heat, high range.
Yeah, and the tonnage, of course, goes
and your
up
tonnage goes up
what
and
you want to
everything.
pay for.
Yeah, so you're looking at your small laser is half a ton and 1 critical space.
Yep.
And your large laser is 5 tons and 2 critical spaces. So that's your range sort of thing there.
Yeah. So I think the long range on a small laser was only like 3 hexes.
Yes.
So it's really for close quarters and things like that. If you've just got
really
if you've got a bit of tonnage left over, a bit of point defense, things like that is quite
good. Yeah. If you can't decide what to do with that extra half ton of space, just stick a small laser on the guy's head or something.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's only 3 points of damage and generates 1 point of heat. But I mean, 3 points of damage can make the difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there are some mechs that'll have maybe just more than one. You know, they might have like a set of 3 or 4.
The Charger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
The
one of
Charger
versions
was
of the
like an
Charger.
assault or a heavy?
Yeah, it's like an
It was
80
an
ton
assault.
mech.
Yeah, it was an assault mech with only small lasers, and I'm like, what is that for?
Yeah.
But if you go through and read the lore and stuff, you see how they came up with it and all that sort of thing, and it's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take one,
but you know, if it's either that or dispossess. You'd go with it.
You'd go with
You'd
it.
go and
Yeah.
just punch somebody in the face. It's an 80 ton mech. Or
I
something.
was going to say just kick people. Who cares?
But the medium laser is quite popular. So we're looking at 1 ton in 1 slot. Like
Yep.
you said. Maximum range of 9, I think it was. 9 hexes. So yeah.
So you can see the short, medium, and long range brackets there, and 9 is out to where you go out to. Gives you 3 points of heat and does 5 points of damage, which is good round numbers. You can work with those.
Quite a popular choice for mounting on the rear of a mech.
Yes,
A lot of mechs have a pair of those just to.
Just because it's like financially cheap. If you're actually playing a campaign where you're buying weapons, then I think the medium lasers are actually pretty cheap.
Yeah.
They're spatially cheap, so they only take up 1 slot. They're tonnage cheap. It's only 1 ton, and they do decent damage at a reasonable range for not too much heat.
Yeah.
So for rear-facing weapons, for backup weapons, for anti-recon mech weapons, that sort of thing, they're actually pretty good.
And the weapon of choice for the Komodo BattleMech.
Yes.
I think he's got like 10 of them or something.
I still reckon he's cool. I love that mech.
Oh yeah. It's good.
Yeah, Alpha Strike overheats it, like, bing, but it's still cool.
Find some water.
Stand knee deep in water and just fire lasers at everything. Oh dear.
And then we have the large, don't we?
Then you've got your large laser, and that one's max long range is 15, which is actually quite a good solid distance.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
So some people refer to the large laser as the poor man's PPC.
Do they now?
Yeah. So, I mean, what, 8 heat and 8 damage?
Yeah.
We're looking at. So that's a lot of damage to one location. So these are all considered a direct fire weapon.
Yeah.
So damage to one location.
Everything we're doing at the moment is direct fire energy weapons. So they are line of sight only, and usually all to one location. But 8 heat for 8 damage and out to 15 range. If you manage your mech's heat fairly well, then that's pretty solid damage.
I think there's an Innisphere mech. I think it's the Ostrock. I think that's what it is.
Yes.
And it's got 4 large lasers on it.
Yeah, there's one in the chest and then one in each arm. And
I think so.
Else.
But four large lasers that's quite nice. Quite like that.
It's solid, but it's insane if you haven't got the heat sinks to cope with it. Because if you're only firing one of them at a time, then what's the point?
Yeah.
You see, but
fire lots.
Yeah, just fire a lot. So it's worth noting that none of these actually take ammo or anything like that. You're only primarily focused on your heat with energy weapons. Okay, that is the problem with energy weapons, but it's also one of the good things with energy weapons is you don't have to expend little bits of ammo to make it work. It won't ever run out of ammo, but you have to manage your heat.
Yeah.
Okay? And I say that because when you go into the ER version of the laser, which is extra range, it also does extra heat. So comparatively, your small laser does 2 heat to you instead of 1, and still only does 3 damage. But you get a good solid increase on your range, which is cool.
And what is it?
So your max has gone out to 5.
5, okay.
Yeah. So it's 1 to 2, 3 to 4, and then 5 is long range. So you can technically go out to 5, but you'll probably end up somewhere in that 3 to 4 range, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
That's compared to the 3 for a normal small laser. That's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You can pair that with some normal medium lasers and still fire everything at once, rather than you having to wait till you get closer before you start bringing the small lasers in. It's pretty cool. And the other two ERs are pretty much comparable as well. The heat goes up, the range goes up, but the damage stays the same.
Yeah. So why would you go with an ER version? Obviously, the range, especially when you're talking about the clans, and we will compare the ER weapons for both technology levels.
Yeah.
But when the clans invaded, their weapons that just had the range and the staying power. You know, all the mechs were just kick ass.
Yeah. I mean, like I think I've mentioned this before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like to know that my heat's under control. I'm not really always that good at making sure that I haven't fired too much stuff. So any weapon that takes more heat than the weapon I normally have is very iffy to me. But I can see why you would do it. I mean, your medium laser goes from a 9 long range, maximum long range, to being a 12 maximum long range. And you only have to spend an extra 2 heat points to get that damage 2 hexes further out.
Yeah.
Or 3 hexes further out. So it's kind of worth it, but again, I'd be iffy about it.
I guess it depends if you're designing a mech that's all energy weapons. You probably want to sort of balance it with something else.
Yeah.
But having that extra range can be
very, very useful. Yeah. I mean, like I say, if you're up against something like a missile boat or a missile boat mech or a missile boat vehicle, and you've got an energy weapon that you can hit them with while you're powering towards them, that's never a bad thing.
No.
Right? They're very, very rarely are missile boats the highest armored unit in their class. They are almost always the lowest armored unit in their class. So even assault missile boats or assault class mechs that are designed as missile carriers or support weapons will have low armor for their class. It might be a lot, but it'll be low for the class.
Yeah.
And if you can fire at them from any range at any point while you're moving towards them, then you are winning.
That's good. Yeah. And they also don't have a minimum range on these either, which
is awesome.
Yeah,
because your PPCs will have a minimum range.
There's a lot of longer range weapons, especially in the autocannon direct fire category, that have a fairly generous minimum range.
Yeah, and your missile weapons all have minimum ranges and things as well. The long ones anyway.
Yeah, so that is another big bonus for the lasers.
Yeah,
direct fire lasers.
You can keep firing it as soon as you get your ER large laser within 19 hexes. You can start firing and keep firing until you get right up next to him.
Yeah, it's good.
And that is a good thing.
So let's do a comparison between the inner sphere ER large lasers, as an example. We'll start with the ER large.
Yep.
And we'll compare it to the clan one.
Yep.
So you can get an idea. Maybe we'll go straight to the top, the biggest gun.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
Okay, so your ER large laser on the inner sphere side is 12 heat, 8 damage, 0 minimum range, obviously. You got a 1 to 7 for your short, 8 to 14 for your medium, and a 15 to 19 for your long. Okay, and if you have a look there at the ER large laser on the clan side, you've got the same heat.
Yeah.
Okay, the heat is the same, but they do 2 extra points of damage.
So 10 damage. So you're doing a PPC, inner sphere PPC damage.
Yeah. So that is not nothing. And you can see why when this sort of technology started rocking up, people were going, oh my God, we have to find a way around this.
Yeah.
You start again, your short range for the clan large goes out 1 extra hex. So it's 1 to 8 instead of 1 to 7. And then again for the medium range, and again, oh no, geez Louise.
Yeah.
So the long range then takes a jump from the 19 being the max to 25.
25. 25 hexes long range.
And I am going to point out right now that the max range for LRMs, for your missile boat people out there, is 21 for the inner spheres.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't even. just no.
Yeah, with the fluff and things like that, when the clans rocked up and the inner sphere was trying to get hold of this technology and things like that, they would pay top dollar if you could have something like that.
Yeah.
As much as 5 times what you get. Because it's just so good, and they really, when you look at stats like that, they really needed to figure out how they made it, because they had to make something.
Yeah, and I could imagine that battle salvage value would go through the roof. When you were fighting the clans in those first, like, what, maybe 10 years, 5-10 years. If you were salvaging clan mechs reasonably intact, you would be. That's a gold mine, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And if you weren't putting it in your own mechs, you were flogging it off as quick as you got it. Sorry, mercenary mind.
Yeah, that's
right. That's. Oh my god, that would be good.
Salvage scenario.
That's it.
Game to play too.
Yeah, bloody oath.
So yeah, well, what about the ER medium? What do we got here? So 5 heat for the clan, 7 damage.
Yeah.
And a range of 5, 10, and 15. So it's got an inner sphere large laser range.
Yep.
For only 1 less point of damage.
Yeah.
3 heat. That's pretty solid.
Yep.
It's no wonder the the inner sphere called it the Black Hawk, but it's the Nova, the clan Nova, which I think it came in the actual box set. I think the original.
Yeah, there's a Nova in there.
In the Clan Invasion, there, everyone's got that box set. You're going to have one.
Yep. And yeah, he had, like, you look at the construction of it, the way the mech's set out. There's lasers all over that blooming thing.
Yeah, and on the arms.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah. So what do we got? An ER small laser.
Yep. So again, they do slightly more damage, so a couple of points extra damage for the same heat, and they give you just a little. Oh no! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they give you a slightly higher long range. Everything else is the same on the ranges, but instead of just a 5 for the long, you get 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
So the clans have a ER micro laser.
Which is cool.
Well, which is very cool. So it's essentially the equivalent of the inner sphere small laser, but it does have a slightly longer range at 4.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the same thing as the one. It only does 2 damage for 1 heat.
Yeah, instead of 1-3, it does 1-2, but the range is better, slightly better. But it is a micro laser, so yeah, it's going to take up a lot less space.
Probably half a ton or something for.
It is 0.25 tons and 1 critical space.
Oh, there you go.
So a quarter of a ton. So in the space that you put, in the tonnage that you put a normal inner sphere small laser, you can fit 2 of those.
Yeah.
So win.
I think they were mainly used for the protomechs.
Yes.
It was the Smoke Jaguars, I think, invented that, and a bit of a surprise for the invading force that headed over there to.
Yeah, I don't think you see them on like actual mechs very much.
No, but protomechs and things like that, they'd be really good.
Probably some of the freakier battle armor and things like that probably turn up.
So the clans also have what they call heavy lasers.
Yeah.
So you get a penalty to hit with them, and they are quite energy intensive. They're like heat, but yeah, you're talking a lot of damage. They basically just supercharge one of their lasers. I don't think the range is as high.
No, but I mean, if you compare them to a standard laser, then so let's have a look at the medium. It's a 3, heat 5, and then 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. Wow.
Yeah.
So the range is exactly the same, but it does 7 heat and 10 damage out to that range.
Yeah.
Instead of 3 heat, 5 damage.
Yeah.
So you are doubling your damage with a heavy laser.
Yeah.
And
you do have the +1 to hit with it, but still.
The heavy medium laser is 1 ton, 2 spaces.
There you go.
So, I mean, Yeah. Bloody clanners.
And they heavy large laser, 18 heat, but 16 damage. So 16 damage to one location.
Yeah, and that's to large laser range.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's double large laser damage to one location. And I mean, there's very few mechs under medium that could take 16 points to a single location, I don't think.
Yeah.
Most of your light mechs, that location is going to be minimum internal and worst case scenario destroyed, but minimum internal.
It's a lot of damage.
It is a lot of
energy
damage.
weapon. Like
Yep.
no ammo. No, it's not particularly heavy to field either, considering.
The large, heavy
I
large.
remember it being fairly reasonable.
Yeah, so 4 tons, 3 critical spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you put one on as a deterrent.
You just go, don't come near me, man. I got to just paint it in yellow and black stripes and go, this thing, all right, leave. Because that's insane. I mean, even with that +1 to hit modifier, most of the clan mechs get a targeting computer or whatever anyway.
Something. Yeah. Seems to be a pretty popular combination to hook it up to a targeting computer, which gives you a bonus to hit.
Yeah.
It cancels it out.
Yep. But that's just a mad level of damage.
That's just
and there's no minimum range. There's very few clan weapons that have a minimum range, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that annoys me, but there you go.
But that's their shtick.
Yeah, that's their thing. That's their bread and butter. Is get right up close and shoot him in the face, I suppose.
So there's some options there for both Inner Sphere and clan players. I think
Standard everyday lasers.
Yeah, I think they're quite good. I've had a lot of success with just the standard large laser and medium lasers while I've played games. So if you're up against a same sort of technology level opponent force, it's fine.
Yep.
I know, but I don't know. It's stuff.
You got a lot of advantages with direct fire energy weapons just across the board, but lasers specifically, you don't have a minimum range. You have decent range for the weapon class, so large, small, medium, whatever. They're not particularly fantastic ranges, but they're not really bad ranges.
No.
And they cover a large range of ranges, if you see what I mean.
Mm.
So you can walk towards an enemy firing pretty much everything you have and not worry about, all you have to do is change your modifier. You're not going, should I keep firing this or not? Should I start here or it's just fire it all.
Yep.
The only disadvantage to them is that you have to keep a track of your heat. You have to be very careful with your heat.
Yeah.
Heat sinks in your mechs when you build them, if you are building. If you're not building, keep a lookout on the mechs that you're picking and say, okay, it's got a high number of energy weapons. What sort of heat dissipation does it have? Are they in the legs? Etc, etc. But good solid everyday weapons.
So lasers, large lasers, micro lasers, we've got everything. It's
Heavies,
on the table.
yeah.
Heavies, yep. But a lot of choice just with that one little category of weapons for the game, which is quite
we better
cool.
get to the next category or we're never going to get this done.
That's right.
Oh dear.
All right, so thanks for watching. If you have any comments and things like that, please leave them. Yeah,
Yep.
we do take a look, and we like having a chat about them and stuff. So that's it. But
All good.
that's it for now.
Yep.
See you later.
Bye guys.